Okay, so that was me building Satisfaction. Did the vocal in one take, or on the first take, because I just destroyed my voice on that first take. I couldn't do any more, didn't do any warm-ups. That's bad. You should always warm up. I never do, but you should. Anyway, so let's do a mix rundown. The first time I did this, all the audio and video was all scrambled. So I'm actually doing this the next day, but let's see now. The drums, I basically ended up only using the snare mic and the overhead and the room mic. I had a room mic for this, which was a Sennheiser MD21, which I love as room mics. It's like an Omni Dynamic from the 50s or 60s. I mean, I think they even still make them actually. So I have a bit of Decapitator on the snare, just brightening it a bit, cutting a bit of low end, driving it a little bit. A nice squishy 60s style compressor, M-Juck, slow attack, quick release, bit of punch. On the overheads, I just have a bit of bottom end cut off. And on the room, I have a kind of, I'm not such a good drummer, and basically my kick and snare were kind of flamming, like they weren't tight. And so my kick was always a little ahead, and it really completely fried my brain trying to figure out how to change it. And drove me a bit insane actually. So I did my best, but then on the room mic, you could hear a lot of kind of this kick stuff, but I wanted to keep the kind of weight, but I didn't want this kind of actual like punch from the kick on the room mic. So I just scooped a big load of like 130 like wide Q EQ there, just to leave a bit of the kind of residual low end roomy kind of fatness, but without really hearing the kick too much. That's what that's doing. All the drums are being bussed to this bus, which has good old wow control on it, just saturating quite a lot, driving the input quite a bit, trimming on the output. This compressor, which isn't really doing too much, just a little bit, and then a Decapitator, just to kind of really sculpt. Like if you listen to the original, there's really no top end at all. It's like very crushed. The top end's super crushed. So that's what I'm doing here again, cutting the top end and then boosting the tone, so it just crushes those high end frequencies against this kind of nice fuzzy wall. I always do the same thing. What can I say? So the drums sound like this. I forgot to say, yeah, there's a tambourine in there too, which I overdubbed. But it's all going through the same bus. The reverbs I have on this tune, I think I'm just using two. I'm using Wendy Carlos's plate, and I'm using this spring reverb, SS Spring, all on Altaverb here. One thing I'm doing on this tune particularly is, I think it's like an Abbey Road trick. Basically you cut everything below around 700 and above around 7,000. On the EQ return, some people do it on this end, depends what kind of thing you want, but it means that you can basically really put a lot of reverb on stuff, but it doesn't get in the way, it doesn't like overwhelm the track, it just kind of sits in its place. So you can make stuff really reverby, but it still sounds kind of present. It's a good one. Okay, so then I did some acoustic guitar, which has a bit of Decapitator on. Same thing. If you listen to the recording, it's so kind of mushed in there, you know, that you can hardly even hear that it's an acoustic guitar. It just sounds like a kind of mushy rhythm thing. And yeah, I was trying to get close to that. Bit of wow control as well. Color, take a bit more top end off, saturate it, saturating quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty nuts on its own, but it sounds like this. There you go, super dry as well for some reason. Okay, then the bass has this little EQ thing. There was a kind of wolf note thing going on here, this kind of resonant thing. Didn't like that. But I wanted a bit more of the pluck from the bass. So I put this high-end thing on there. And then I purple audioed the fucker. Took very high sidechain here, like 478 hertz. So that I basically would only really be compressing that kind of plucky thing. I just wanted a bit more definition on the bass. I didn't really care about compressing the low stuff. So that lets the low stuff through, but just bites on those higher end kind of pluck things. So pretty hot input, kind of slow attack, quite fast release, 12-1. There you go, that's the bass. Sounds like this. Yeah, cool bass line. There is a piano there. I found an instrumental mix of this song and you can clearly hear there's a piano there. It's just so buried in there, but it really does add a kind of, it just adds a joy to the track. So the piano, Decapitator, same thing. Take the low end off, drive it, boom, top end cut, tone boost, wow control, super driving it, very saturated, just so it just melts in there, you know. The piano sounds like this. Yeah, kind of ropey, but that's how I like it. So then we get on to the fuzz riff. Yeah, I have a few fuzz pedals. I was trying my Damn 1966 for a while because I thought that would be the closest to the Maestro fuzz tone, which is what he used on the original track. But I just wasn't really getting it. So then I borrowed Tim's fuzz face, which I ended up using. I still don't think I got it right. I'm sorry. I didn't have too much time, so I think it's got a bit too much sustain, basically. Like Keith's one, it just has this really nice shape to it. You can still hear the notes. I think mine is just a little too sustainy. Yeah, anyway, there you go. That's what happens. So anyway, here's the fuzz guitar riff. So with that, I basically have a whole stack of things. I have Decapitator, which is just, again, taking the top end down. I have this extreme EQ, mid-range thing, like 300 hertz, massive boost. Then a high frequency, well, I mean, it says high frequency, but it's just 1K boost as well. Just trying to get that kind of barky sound. And again here, just trying to get that same tone that Keith has, which it doesn't quite have it, but it's kind of close. One thing I did do, which I love doing very often, if you want something to sit back without, and it still feels present, but just sit back in the mix a bit, then sometimes I just give something its own reverb on the actual track here. Usually like a room, like a studio room or something, and I just blend in, like this is nearly, like 30% wet, blended in on the room sound. So it basically, it just makes it sound like it's mic'd a bit further away or something, or it's kind of back in the room a little bit, and it's different to just added sending to a reverb bus or something, because it doesn't sound like reverb, it just kind of melts it slightly back, you know. Which I think is a good thing to do. I should do a video experimenting with that kind of thing, like a separate video. And then I have a compressor at the end, purple audio, just sort of juicing it a little bit, sending to the spring reverb and to the plate. Not sure why that's off to one side, that shouldn't be like that. And then the verse guitars, which they basically have the same settings, but just the spring reverb instead of the plate. I wanted the riff to kind of jump out a little bit more. But the verse guitar's really cool. Like, I love it. Keith, what a legend. Here we go. Yeah, it's so cool. And then the vocals, which, yeah, like I said, this is just the first take I did, and it's a bit ropey, but I think it's got a vibe. And that, I was just using my Geffel, and I have a bit of low end cut, Decapitator. Guess what? It's cutting the top end and boosting the tone a little bit. Bit of drive. I have this, which is just adding a little 3K presence thing just to make it jump out a bit more, and then a big squishy compressor. Nice 60s vibes. Yeah. Bit of slapback delay, bit of plate reverb. Same with the backing vocals, basically. Same rig, except the backing vocals have the little room as well. If you listen to the recording, it does sound like they're back in the room. So I'll give you a bit of the vocals, so you can check that out. Here we go. I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get no satisfaction, 'cause I try and I try and I try and I try. I can't get no. I can't get no. When I'm driving in my car and a man comes on the radio, he's telling me more and more about some useless information supposed to fire my imagination. I can't get no. Oh no, no, no. Hey, hey, that's what I say. There you go. That was it. That was the song on the master bus. I mean, I actually just leave this most of the time now. I have a template for these re-record things, and generally I'm doing these like 60s and 70s tunes, so I always have this tape thing on here. I play with the type sometimes, but that's kind of it really. Wow control on this, quite important, really saturating it a lot, taking more top end off. My little limiter, mastering limiter. So there you go. Yeah, let me know if you have any more questions, or if there's any other videos you'd like me to do, or you want to come and see the studio, or you want to pre-order a copy of my new record, which is coming out in 1 month. You can see the finished version of this song, by the way, on the other video, which you can click this link up here. So hopefully the audio isn't fucked up on this version. All being well, you will be seeing this on YouTube, and I will see you next time. Thank you.